See, fast forward, ini como awachani so AGH Politics Avenue. Podcast of the penny because make headlines. And a jemre need to be exum or any diminution raxium and a ADD can stress bit my subscribe to the channel. It's a notification banner so share now fear for so and into me and can be an idiom ni raxium. Best of say young yin simu. Yaku simu or political habits in ma. Unia and yet as some photo of Nina say a year minority leader Afenyo Martins and the Menoka say a year majority leader etimi a petition a year parliament honorable Aban Babi say onwe na papano yambo autumn in free a year minority leader the delegations to Ecowas parliament if we say and no man a year Afenyo Martins a year Ghana parliament and say emphata say edeno ebidi a year Ghana parliament and himself as a minority leader onko inkusi Ghana and nemu ewo a year Ecowas parliament menoka say a semono a year bruha enya se photo cry ajemre na edibi exum ewo ni dimni ahun raksiemu yen semre yembo nra insimunum na yenjemu inchiremu AGH Politics Avenue.
Majority Leader Mahama has petitioned the Speaker of Parliament to refer the leader Afenyo Markin, the minority leader Afenyo Markin, to the Privileges Committee for allegedly defying a parliamentary resolution that replaced him on Ghana's delegation to the Ecowas Parliament. Mahama says the Ecowas Parliament initially declined to swear in Ghana's delegation following Parliament's decision to replace Afenyo Markin as part of the team. He stated that it took a threat from Ghana to withdraw from Ecowas before the delegation was eventually sworn in. In his petition to the Speaker, Ayariga described the minority leader's actions as a breach of parliamentary privilege and called for the necessary disciplinary action to be taken.
Parliament in July 2025 approved a reconstitution of Ghana's delegation to the Ecowas Parliament, replacing the minority leader Alexander Afenyo Markin with the deputy minority leader Patricia Appiagyei. However, the majority leader Mahama has reported to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, that the resolution has been defied by the minority leader by presenting himself to the ECOWAS Parliament. He has therefore petitioned the Speaker to refer Afenyo Markin to the Privileges Committee for contempt of Parliament.
By defying this Parliament resolution, removing him from the delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, and actually going to Port Harcourt and attending the session, Mr. Speaker, he has clearly affronted the dignity and engaged in an act that constitutes an affront to the authority of this Parliament. And it is time that the Honorable Afenyo Markin be put in his proper place.
I will take the whole of today to consider the complaint, and tomorrow I will then communicate my decision to the House.
Tensions erupted at the Appointments Committee on Monday during the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Justice Paul Bafoboni, leading to a heated exchange between the minority and majority leaders. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, on Tuesday subsequently referred an apology to the Judiciary over comments and conduct by some committee members deemed discourteous to the Judiciary.
I extend our deepest apologies and assurances of Parliament's continued respect for the Judiciary and its esteemed members. I want to assure all of you that I'll come back on this issue of decency, discipline, and decorum. And this time, I'm coming with the hammer, not the gavel.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Akuffo, also laid before the House an agreement between the government and Barari DV Ghana Limited for the mining of lithium and other minerals at Mankesim in the central region.
We are thinking about jobs, we are thinking about empowering the people, we are thinking about the industries that will be created and the opportunities that is ahead. And that's why we are making this decision. And so we've brought the agreement back after we've sat down with the company and negotiated a pathway that is in the long-term interest of the people of the Mankesim area and the people of Ghana. When the MPP people come here and tell you that, oh, we negotiated a lithium royalty at 10, they reduce it to 5%, tell them it's a lie.
One would have expected that the royalty adjustment will be an improved royalty adjustment. But the government of President Mahama and the current government is negotiated through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources with Barari DV Limited, a royalty agreement, a royalty peg, which is lower than the royalty agreed upon by the Akuffo administration, which they rejected. A cursory examination of this agreement suggests that this agreement is a much worse form of agreement than the one agreed upon or the one negotiated by the Akuffo administration. And the question that we asked on the floor of Parliament, what has changed? What has changed?
The assurance from the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, is that this agreement would be thoroughly scrutinized by the House to ensure that Ghanaians benefit from it. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, Ni Ayukwe Okain.
So he came back and argued the same motion that had been declined. That was what prompted, in fact, and usually when even the Speaker himself is not in Parliament, he's not sitting. Yeah. And he's around. He's mostly watching proceedings. So he quickly sent an emissary to the first Deputy Speaker who was presiding to tell him that he wanted to come and then make a statement on the issues that were happening. And so that was what brought Speaker into the Parliament. If you realize it, when Speaker came to the Parliament, that was the basis of his coming there. So he came there and then went back to direct all that had happened and said that the statement, that motion had been declared as inadmissible. And so there was even no basis to argue on it. So we didn't even go into the substance. And he said, why he argued it using the avenue of the business statements.
The opportunity to comment on the business statements.
There were comments from both sides on that motion. Even though we can't call it a motion because it was not presented as a motion. It was presented as random commentary on the business statement for the week. But the first Deputy Speaker who was presiding gave a ruling on it.
Right.
Because it was, you can't call it a ruling because even the minority leader said he was not asking for a ruling on it.
Yes.
But he still went ahead and made his final remarks on it. The ruling eventually came when Speaker himself came to the chamber. And Speaker said this has been declared as inadmissible. So that's right. Ended the matter. You see, if you wanted to raise the matter, then you should have raised it in Parliament, in the plenary, because you could have come here to raise it. But because once you raise it and it's been determined by the Speaker as inadmissible, it is inadmissible everywhere in Parliament. And when the committee is sitting, it's sitting as an extension of Parliament.
Okay.
And so there he comes again, seeing that this is another avenue, to still come back with his motion. And some of these motions, if you see the words in them, because it is to attack whatever had happened at the Justice Puaman Committee, which saw to the removal of the Chief Justice. So he had prepared his, and he wants to use every means possible to read whatever he had prepared. And so he saw it as an avenue. And that was why the majority leader sought to protect. Because you see, once it's been decided by Parliament, Speaker said it's inadmissible, you can't come here and want us to talk about that issue. Yes, you have the opportunity to make preliminary remarks before proceedings actually start. But that does not give you an unfettered avenue or opportunity to say whatever you want. Especially when that matter had been decided. And see, when he was even arguing in Parliament, he made reference to certain judicial decisions, certain precedents which supported him. But the latest one, he left it out. The latest judicial decision on these matters, whether a matter before Parliament and before the Judiciary, the court, can be a subject for discussion in Parliament. The latest decision is the Vincent Ecowas versus the Attorney General. That is the latest.
What's the decision on that?
So I'm coming to it. You understand? It has to do with, one, it was seeking to restrain the president from proceeding with the commendation from the Council of State on the issue of the removal of the Chief Justice.
Yes.
And it was also trying to restrain the Council of State. And so the president cannot go ahead and form the committee based on the finding of a prima facie case against the former CJ. But you see, there had been a precedent in Ghana where usually people rush to court and then file certain motions, file injunctions, and even by the mere filing of the injunction, it acts as a stay. In fact, in court, we have all used it. My clients have been cited for contempt. I have had clients who have been cited for contempt on the basis of the fact that there was an injunction filed, that injunction had not been determined, and they went ahead and were working. Such matters, they have been duly dealt with in court. But you see, the Visasafo case made a distinction between such general matters and matters that have to do with constitutional imperatives. So, for instance, when a constitution gives you a mandate as a president, when there's a prima facie that has been determined by a Council of State, you go ahead and form a committee, or if you like a commission. If you understand, that is given to you by the Constitution. Now the question is, Parliament, we are told, is an arm of the state. Executive is one arm, Judiciary is one arm.
Legislature is the other.
Legislature is one. Now, are we now saying that when Parliament is considering something and I want to stop it, I want to stultify the work of Parliament, I can rush to court and just file a proceeding. Remember, filing a proceeding is not the same as an order of the court, because it has to take the court to sit on that process that has been filed for an order to be made. Now, are we saying that before even the order is made, whether the order will even be made positively or negatively, the processes in Parliament must stop? That is a bigger question. In that case, even governance cannot go. Because remember,
can this be likened to the declaration of seats vacant by Speaker Bagbin in the 8th Parliament?
So that was a ruling by who? The Speaker.
The Speaker.
But there has been a recent ruling by which one?
The court.
The court. So when you have a ruling from Parliament, contradicting a ruling
from the court,
which one supersedes? Because Parliament does not. The court makes final orders. That is why
the court makes the final order.
You understand? So the most recent one is the one from Visasafo. You understand?
Yeah.
Which supersedes what the Speaker had, because the Speaker's ruling had been declared as a nullity.
Yeah.
You understand? So you don't go back to that ruling to now form the basis of your current motion or application, because in the eye of everyone, that ruling can no longer stand.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And especially if you look at, in fact, if you look at J.H. Mensah versus the Attorney General, which happened in 1996, when Rawlings said that late, because he had ministers coming from 1993 to 1994 elections. You understand? And these ministers had been vetted in 1993, which gave them the opportunity to be ministers. Once he won the elections and he's maintaining some of them as ministers, they didn't have to go through vetting again. And Judge Mensah went to court and said that no, this cannot be the case. The Constitution says the ministers who have been nominated must come to vetting for approval. They must come before Parliament for approval. And so the fact that they were once ministers and they came before us does not mean that anytime they have been nominated, it's a fresh nomination.
Yeah.
And then you see, Judge Mensah added another relief. He gave the rundown of how the process should go in Parliament. Well, that's what most people don't get. So Parliament, the Supreme Court upheld his major relief, which was to the effect that the people, even though they have been renominated, have to still go through the process again. But they gave a caveat. They said that as for the process you have mentioned, they have to do this, Parliament has to do this. The Supreme Court said, no, we cannot have a hand in how Parliament will go about the vetting. Parliament can even just come out and say that they can just sit 1 minute and say we have vetted them. After the process, we can question the process, but the act itself can be questioned.
Okay.
You understand? And so go through the process. The outcome, when it comes out, you can come to court and we'll make a determination of the outcome. But as to how Parliament should go about its business, we as Supreme Court, we cannot go into it. And that was what the minority law was.
That's some good education there. But let me hear from Alaji on this matter, and then I'll pick Larry's thoughts as well.
Thank you so much, and good morning to you. Good morning to Larry. Good morning to my brother Fatal. It's interesting. From a layman point of view, I will say this. The laymen rather make the laws.
You are not a layman. you are more than a layman.
You want to change the man's portfolio.
From the layman point of view, I will say
you have a diplomatic,
I will still say that the laymen help make the laws, because the lawyers always say that what the reasonable man says is the law, is what it is. You see, the matter before us has to do with constitutional fidelity. Fidelity to the law as well, the growth of our democracy, and how important it is to handle matters in that regard. The matter is there a case pending in our courts and other courts, okay, that indeed is seeking to say that a chief justice, properly so called, has been removed. She thinks that my right actually has been trampled upon. She thinks that no, justice wasn't served, therefore let's go to the forum that serves justice and file same cases, okay, in order for the justice that she's demanding to be served here or otherwise. Matter is, do we have legal processes filed before even the settlement, before even the appointment? And the question here is yes. Now, what my brother seeks to say and then give this idea of Vincent as a first case. If you read, I read an article written by one of your brothers, your colleagues here, Sky. An excellent article. Excellent piece. You should read it. Sky says, look, let us not narrow the scope of what the Supreme Court said about Vincent Assefa. And clearly, Sky makes the argument that, look, prudence ought to be looked at as well in applying whatever the Supreme Court has pronounced upon. What is he saying? If you look at Vincent Assefa, which my brother rightly cited, it says that when a matter of constitution is supposed to be acted upon by the executive or whatever is any arm of government, and somebody rushes to court to file or to seek an injunction, he may not be granted that. But this is a different matter. Why am I saying it's a different matter? Do we have pending cases already? You see, this is for the purposes of our education. Of course, decisions have been taken already. But for the purpose of our education, I'm saying that we have pending cases already. It's not a matter of somebody rushing to say, because this is going to be done, let me go and seek for injunction. The Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that to thwart the efforts of the one who is supposed to act accordingly.
Right.
You understand what I mean? However, if there are pending cases, what minority raised was that, look, this is not somebody filing anything. There's are legal issues around us. And once those legal issues are not yet determined and pronounced upon, we think that we are jumping the gun to do a vetting. The Speaker thinks otherwise and say, no, let's go ahead.
Does the case is pending in court?
Yes.
Does it in any way, on grounds of the Constitution, bar Parliament from doing its work?
Yeah, there are those who have made the argument that once a warrant has actually been signed by the President, then you cannot question it again. Others say that, look, it can be questioned because if the procedural impropriety is established, that is why I'm saying it's an education. Let's wait to see whether or not that procedural impropriety will be upheld, okay, by the court or will be thrown out. Find out. If it's thrown out, we all move on. It's an education.
Who is testing the procedure?
Who is testing the procedure? The one who feels he has been affected. The Chief Justice that we had. I had a problem. We had a Chief Justice who was removed. We had an acting Chief Justice. Per the Constitution, Article 146 is there. 144 Clause 6 clearly says that someone should act in his stead. So why the rush? If the person is acting and there are pending legal issues, why can't we exhaust those pending legal issues and then move on as a people? As simple as that. So in principle, we were saying that, look, the minority said that, look, let us have these pending issues moved out. then at the end of the day, you can go ahead and do what? But the president, of course, the law sometimes helps the majority.
You want to call it an ass?
Yeah. So try to do what you want to do.
Oh no, an ass in a donkey.
Yes, I get it. So you see, this matter, in principle, we in MPP thought that the matter should have come to its logical conclusion. And then, of course, Parliament would trigger whatever. A president would now do his appointment, and then Parliament would trigger the vetting process, and then we can move on. But, hey, it has been decided on. Let's move on. But let me move on to the next important matter I felt we should all be worried about. I chanced on something yesterday when I was listening to the vetting process, and I was actually appalled. I was not happy.
Which one is this?
Just read, let me read the judicial oath to you, and you understand why I was appalled. And I believe many out there would actually not be happy with what happened. This is our Chief Justice, who is supposed to swear an oath, and the oath reads, I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of the Republic of Ghana, and that I will truly and faithfully perform the functions of my office without fear, emphasis on fear. Let's underline fear. Without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
You know where this is going.
Yeah, or ill will. I will at all times uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Ghana. And the judge who is supposed to be at the helm of affairs of the judicial system of our country says that I had, as a young man, as a judge, I had to give somebody 70 years because I'm afraid of them.
We ain't some outdoor team course watching and so. Mam now so Jim Rewa. That's any so body and Eddie Adumbi Edumin. The best number realm na Yasuma Panson. Aha, AGH Politics Avenue.